Hey guys, it's Brianna with Pick'em Pros, and this is episode 6 of my sports journey. I recently had the opportunity to interview Will Hernandez on the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you so much for watching.
We gon' up the score, touchdown, this is not field goal. We the winning team, champions when you walk through the halls. You can place your bet with us, cause you know we gon' win them all. I pick them like a pro, global trying ball, talking pick and roll. We gon' up the score, touchdown, this is not field goal. We the winning team, champions when you walk through the halls. You can place your bet with us, cause you know we gon' win them all. Yeah, this is a major play. We do it big in a major way. Diego be having the pick of the day. Here we come, don't care if you ready. We them boys, the gold is heavy. Top picks like cheese, no shredded. Number one is where we headed. I'm a grizzly and bear like Desmond. I'm a Steeler, no saint, no reverend.
My name is Will Hernandez. I play for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm an offensive lineman, guard, number 76. So the offseason, this one's been a very different one. I hate to start off by talking about my injury, but it is a different offseason for me. I've never been injured. I've never had surgery, and this is the first offseason where I have to rehab in order to be able to play again on the field. So it's been different, but it's been a learning process, and it's definitely been a motivational one for me as well. Yeah, so I feel like since 2018 I've learned so much, from experience to skill set to how to manage myself around a locker room to building relationships, a lot more than just football. If we're talking about elevating my game specifically, I think I was able to become a more efficient offensive lineman. And what I mean by that is, the older you get, the less physical you have to use, and the more mental, and that it goes up more mental than anything. And so for me, I found that every single year that I played in the league, my expertise went up, and my skill set and my technique was used so much more than my physical attributes.
A lot of people don't appreciate offensive linemen as much as they should. What do you think is the biggest thing that a lot of people overlook about your position?
Yeah, so as offensive linemen, we know we're like the behind-the-scenes guys. We know we're not going to get any shine, and the only time we're going to get our name called is when we do something wrong. So when you sign up for this position, especially in the league, you already know what it is. But something that I urge people to really know about the game is it all happens and doesn't happen because of us. We're the reason why teams run the ball really well. We're the reason why quarterbacks shine so bright. We're the reason why receivers are able to catch a pass 45 yards down the field. And everybody sees the receiver, everybody sees where the ball goes, but nobody's seeing what's making all that happen. But I like to think of offensive line, which everybody knows it's 5 players, as gears. And if you've seen gears before, they interlock and they all have to work exactly together in conjunction in order for whatever machinery to work. So that's exactly how offensive line is in the NFL. If all 5 guys aren't on the same page and they're not all in sync, it's very hard. That's how you get quarterback sacked. That's how a running back gets tackled in the backfield.
How is it defending Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray is a very, very fun and pleasant quarterback to work for and to block for. First of all, he's a personal friend of mine, really good dude off the field. First of all, I just want to say that. And then talking about Kyler Murray, the player, he's that kind of splash player that obviously we all seen what he can do.
Right.
He runs fast and he has an arm. And just like I talked about offensive linemen, being the behind-the-scenes guy, he also does a lot of behind-the-scenes things that make us look good sometimes. So, for example, I'm not the perfect protector either, but, one time I had a guy slip by, and he was on his way to sack Kyler, and Kyler was able to get away from him because he's so fast.
Yeah.
So, playing for a quarterback like that definitely has its perks, and I get along with him great. I think he's a great player, and he does bail and makes everybody around him look good.
When you guys went to Mexico City in 2022, how was that for you, knowing that you also had family there and that you got to represent your heritage?
Yeah, so Mexico City wasn't just another game on the schedule for me. It was something that was very near and dear to my heart, specifically because that's where my parents are from, number one. Number two, all my dad's side of the family still lives there to this day. And so this was going to be the first time that my family was going to see me play football live.
Wow.
In Mexico City. So, you know, apart from my personal matters, it was also such a big deal to me because the Mexican heritage and the Mexican people in Mexico City love football. Maybe they don't, I haven't been around it as long as obviously here in America,
Right.
but they're all about the passion, they're all about the grit. So there's such a good fan base to have for football. And I've always said, you know, we can have many more Mexicans in the league if there was more opportunities,
Right.
because they just have the DNA to be a great football player. And so that game was literally one of the highlights of my entire career, because, you know, we got to go represent for my people in front of my family,
Right.
and then for my parents as well.
Have you changed any ways that you've trained to help keep up with the pace of the game?
Yes, you know, we're here now, and this is prime example. We're at Ultimate Combat Training here in Phoenix, Arizona, and this is my new home in the off season. And to me, this transition of training differently changed my career. And I think I proved that yesterday in the first 5 games that I did play in the season, because it was the first off season where I came to an MMA gym and I trained consistently 6 days a week, all off season. And you know, and the mindset behind that was I need to do something different if I want to get to that next level. Because I've been training kind of the same way since I was a rookie. You know, all football players have their typical strength day, their typical explosive day. You know, they go out and get some sprints. You know, it's very generic. And I didn't want to be mediocre. So it was that mindset of I need to train differently. Who can I train with? Who can help me? And that person was Javier Torres. And here at Ultimate Combat Training, they literally shifted my career into a better direction, because maybe not a lot of people know this, but MMA is one of the hardest, I think it is the hardest sport on the planet. And it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of technique, and a lot of grit too, just like football. There's a lot of similarities, but MMA definitely changed, you know, switched up my training and made my career go like this.
Being here in the gym in your off season, how has that helped you be the player that you are, and how has that helped you get better?
Yeah, being here in the gym has, you know, it's a 24/7 job, 365 days. The gym's going to be your second home as an NFL football player. You can never stop working out. There's no such thing. It's, you know, so the gym is one of the lifelines to my career continuing. So I mentioned I do MMA already, you know, as a supplement, but you know, I'm also lifting a lot of weights, and I also get out on the field and do a lot of running, sprinting, you know, things like that. But all it does is it gets you better each year, because you find a way to be more efficient with the workouts that you have to do. And so you're able to almost get in more workout time, because you're able to maximize each minute of workout.
And you've played a lot of games in your career. Who do you think was your toughest matchup for you?
So out of all the games that I've played, toughest matchup, let's keep it, you know, interior D-line. Let's say, I mean, obviously everybody knows Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
He was legit. But you know what? Somebody that, you know, maybe people don't know as much as Aaron Donald is Dexter Lawrence. And I played with him in New York when he first got there. I was there when he came in as a rookie. And obviously he's established himself as the top nose guard in the league. But I called it too. When he came in, I was telling everybody that he's going to be good one day. And I mean, he was good right off the bat, but he was going to be great.
Right.
And yeah, I would say Dexter Lawrence for sure.
Looking ahead to your future, do you want to stay with the Cardinals, or do you want to venture off somewhere else if that's a possibility?
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to signing with a new team as a free agent, there's a lot of uncontrollables, right? People think it's as easy as, do the Cardinals want you? Yes or no? Do you want to sign with the Cardinals? Yes or no? It's not that simple. You know, the Cardinals also don't know what they don't know yet. And what I mean by that is, you know, there's a lot of questions about my knee, which is normal. There's a lot of questions about, are they going to draft another guy? You know, does it fit in their budget? You know, people don't know, but like the NFL at the end of the day, it's part business too, just like it is a sport. And they have to do what makes the most sense for them. And sometimes
Right.
it's not about, do we want this player? Maybe sometimes they do, and they just either can't afford it, or it doesn't work out for them, or it doesn't make sense. But with all that being said, personally, I would like to stay here, yes. I built a great foundation. I've played great football here. Why change something that's not broken?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would definitely want to stick around, but at the end of the day, I can't control if they keep me here or not. And if they don't, then we'll look for a new home. But, that's just how it kind of works.
Being an NFL player and a business owner, I'm sure it gets really busy. How do you manage all that time and everything that you do?
Yeah, so playing in the NFL and owning a business is definitely crazy. But what I found out over the years, the same as what I found out with my expertise and technique in football, organization is the most important thing. Planning ahead, having when you think you're organized, find a way to get more organized. And I think that's what's going to make you the most efficient. And I use that same concept in football, and now I'm just applying it to my business. So we plan everything out, we make it maximum efficiency, and then we make sure that we dot up a certain amount of time every single day where we say, hey, and for an hour today, we're going to just talk Miho's Tacos. For the next hour after that, we're going to just talk football. And then the next hour after that, all I'm going to be doing is training. So, set times for the things that are important to you, and make sure that you're taking advantage of that time that you set as well.
Want your legacy to be that people remember you by?
So when everything's done as far as being an NFL player, what I want to do is stick around. And what I mean by that is, get into different things where I can still impact the community. I'm impacting it now as a player, cool. But what I want to do afterwards is something along the lines of broadcasting, getting on the radio, creating a foundation and making football camps, for these kids, and passing down what I learned in my years of playing. But everything along those lines. I just want to stick around football. It's the only thing I've ever done in my life. It's the only thing I know. So all I want to do is just pour into the next generation of kids that want to play in the league. And what better way to do it than to do it in the area that I'm in. So Miho Things is part of what I am. I have it tattooed on my skin. It's my roots. It's where I came from. And obviously it's a term of endearment for those who don't know. It's something that you grow up getting called by your parents, your buddies, your friends. So to me, we started off as a joke in college. Our coach started calling us Mihos because we were Mexican, players. And he said it as a term of endearment as well. We kind of adapted it. We liked the sound of it, the ring to it. And we started calling ourselves Mihos. It was me and my friend group in college, Shout out Josh Ortega and Derek Elmendorf. But yeah, we kind of just owned it and said, yeah, we are Mihos, man. Like, we're Mexicans playing football here in the U.S. Like, that's us. And then it kind of just one thing after the other. And then one day we were just talking about, like, hey, let's throw it on a T-shirt, man, like, and rock it for ourselves. And then we did. And then next thing you know, we're getting compliments left and right. And we're like, what if we just like print merch out and get other people rocking it? And it just kind of started like that, just from an idea, from a joke, and now it's a full-on business for us. It's our clothing brand. We're using it now to create a pedestal and bridge a gap from everything we just talked about. Mexicans in the NFL, from Pee-wee, high school, middle school football, that want to play in the NFL. And they don't see many guys like themselves until you see me. And that's exactly why I wanted to create, something besides myself and my own name. I wanted to create some sort of spotlight for these kids to feel a part, or have them see that it's, very possible for them to make it as well. And, alongside with that, we wanted to make them kind of, feel cool about it, give us some swag, get some really cool merch out there, merch that these kids want to rock. So, that's the basis of it. We want to create a platform in the NFL for these kids. We want to make sure that these kids know that it's very possible to do anything that they want to do. I'm here as living proof, and that's exactly what Miho Things is. It's a mentality, it's a movement, it's the way you carry yourself, and at the end of the day, it's your roots as well. We talked a lot about helping the next generation. We talked a lot about my businesses and what I have going on and what I want to portray. But I think the biggest proof of that is our camp coming up. We're having a camp, a football camp, June 21st in El Paso, Texas, at the SAC. And I was fortunate enough to team up with my ex-teammate Aaron Jones, who's current running back for the Vikings. And we collabed, and we're doing a big camp this year. We're expecting around 1,500 kids.
Oh, wow.
And that will be the grand opening to Miho's Tacos truck as well that same day. So I talk a lot. I talk a big game about helping the next generation. This is exactly where I put my money where my mouth is. June 21st, kids are gonna learn a lot. They're gonna be swagged out. There's gonna be a lot of Miho Things merch out there, Miho's Tacos truck, and I'm just excited to give back and have a good time.
We gon' up the score, touchdown. This is not field goal. We the winning team champions when you walk through the halls. You can place your bet with us, cause we gon' win them all. I pick them like a pro, global trying ball, talking pick and roll. We gon' up the score, touchdown. This is not field goal. We the winning team champions when you walk through the halls. You can place your bet with us, cause we gon' win them all. Yeah, this is a major play. We do it big in a major way. Diego be having the pick of the day. Here we come, don't care if you ready. We them boys, the gold is heavy. Top picks like cheese, no shredded. Number one is where we headed. I'm a grizzly, a bear like Desmond. I'm a Steeler, no saint, no reverend. Making plays is our profession. Do it big, it's now or never. I got game like I'm moving clever. We be reaching all different levels. Never breaking, we hitting the pedal. Right on time, we